Hello everyone. So today I want to talk to you all about a topic that's been in my mind for already quite a long time. Recently the PSA Group and Fiat Chrysler Automobiles, they formed an alliance that goes by the name Stellantis. Quite an interesting name, by the way, for an alliance between Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and the PSA Group. You see, the alliance between the PSA Group and the Fiat Chrysler Automobiles is not very... First of all, I'm going to tell you all that this is not the first time these two brands have been in contact with each other. The earliest known connection between Fiat Chrysler automobile cars and the PSA Group cars would have been in the 1970s. That was the time when Citroën had ownership of Maserati, and that was when they released my favorite car, the Citroën SM. For those of you who know me by now, I'm a big fan of the Citroën SM. The point I want to talk to you all about is my view and my opinion of Stellantis. I'm going to tell you all right now that I have a neutral view of Stellantis. I don't think this is the best thing ever, but then I do not think it's bad either. It's not the worst thing either. I think both brands needed Stellantis to happen. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and the PSA Group, Peugeot Citroën, they needed Stellantis to happen. Well, actually, I feel like the PSA Group needed it to happen, whereas Fiat Chrysler doesn't really mind that much. Yes, that's right, you heard me, everyone. It's like, you know... Okay, so here's how I see the Stellantis brand. Fiat Chrysler have... They have complete domination of the North American market. They kind of dominate the North American market, and it's like with the Dodge Ram and with the Chrysler brand and with the Jeep and everything, for a long time they've been quite prominent in the North American market for that reason alone. Now, Ford and General Motors are competitive rivals in the North American market, but Fiat Chrysler are the most, prominent, and that too when it comes to the small car segment. Fiat has been picking up big time in the North American market. In fact, the Fiat 500 has quite a big name, and it's quite evident here in Belgium, in Europe, guys. The Fiat 500 dominates our roads. Like, literally, guys. Every time I go out, I see at least 2 different Fiat 500s. And I even see an Abarth version. That's how popular they are, guys. But here's how I see it, guys. Fiat Chrysler, it appears as though the Chrysler part of Fiat, the Chrysler parts, like for example, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, they seem to be more active in North America. Whereas here in Europe, in Belgium, they sell cars. Well, Dodge Ram doesn't sell, but you can still buy a Dodge Ram through some wholesaler. There's some specialized car dealers here in Belgium who specialize in American exports. Jeep is not adapting to the EU market. They're just selling whatever they would sell in North America, and they're expecting us to cheer up about it. And I'm like, okay, good. Just, aren't you going to do something about the tax laws? Because in North America, I don't know what the tax law is like, but here in Europe, the tax law really loves penalizing those who drive massive diesel engines with a lot of emission and a lot of fuel consumption. I have to come back to the one important topic. Remember I told you guys that before Stellantis, the PSA Group and Fiat Chrysler, they actually had some connections even before Stellantis happened? Yes, another important thing I want to tell you all is that before Fiat Chrysler existed, Fiat and the PSA Group, they had some alliance when it came to utility vehicles. This goes by the name Sevel. Sevel Nord and Sevel Sud. So basically, Citroën, Peugeot, Fiat. They've been building utility vehicles like small vans, mid-sized vans, and large vans, all in 2 factories. So I don't know which factory does which, but they delegate. And before I get down to talking about the advantages, I just want to quickly talk to you all about the PSA Group. By now, for those of you who know me, I am a fan of Citroën cars. Now, the PSA Group have a prominent advantage, and that is they appear to have prominent fame in Francophone parts of the world. Like literally, guys. So I've noticed in Europe, in France is like the only country where PSA Group have quite a big name. And here in Belgium, at the French-speaking area, the PSA Group have a very big name, even in Brussels. But as soon as you go to Flanders, the Flemish-speaking area, the prominence of Peugeot, Citroën cars are... It's like not so much. You don't see them very much. You see mostly Volkswagens here in the Flanders. Now I'm going to talk to you all about the primary advantages that Stellantis has brought for Fiat Chrysler and the PSA Group. Alright, so let's start with Fiat Chrysler. What advantage could Stellantis possibly bring for Fiat Chrysler? Part sourcing. That's the only advantage I can think of. Part sourcing. I think the biggest problem the North American brands always had for a long time, and I've mentioned this in my previous video about why General Motors failed in Europe. The biggest problem with American brands is that they cannot do small cars. They're very, very terrible at doing city cars because they don't have the concept of city cars. And that is normal. It's not a questionable aspect in my view, because North America is a massive nation. And therefore, there's high demand for a massive vehicle, not because of the looks, not because of the aesthetics, not because of the style, not because of the American pride. It's simply because of utility. People need a big vehicle, especially when traveling long journeys on a daily basis. So it's like traveling from Brussels to Paris on a daily basis. That's how life can be like in the continent of North America. Please excuse me if I'm wrong. Those of you Americans and Canadians, I apologize if I'm wrong. And therefore, the concept of city cars, it's not like American brands don't understand the concept. It's more like they never could focus on the concept of city cars. The only part of North America where city cars actually make a lot of sense would be in New York City. And so that's why Fiat Chrysler needed some expertise with small cars. And this is something the PSA Group have had. They grew from small cars. The PSA Group were born from small cars. They exist because of small cars. They are still alive today because of small cars. Now, PSA Group have had a curse for never being able to do luxury cars. They did have the Citroën DS. They did have Citroën, which was doing quite well in the 1960s and 70s, but then Citroën shot itself in the foot because they constantly had projects after projects after projects. They were doing constant investments. They were not taking calculated risks. They were just taking anything they wanted without considering the aftermath, the risks it would pose. And now that's why Citroën went bankrupt in 1975, and since then, the concept of luxury car in France died. However, it's true there have been some unique models, like the Citroën C6, the Renault Avantime. It had quite a big name, and then the Peugeot. Well, yeah, the Peugeot also had some models, like I think the 608 or something. Each of them were great, but they were not very desirable by the rest of the world because everyone desires some status. And Citroën, the French brands, they do not have status. They never had status because they have their own concept of luxury. It was always about innovation when it comes to French brands. What I'm trying to say, guys, is that Fiat Chrysler needed some expertise when it came to small cars so that they can compete in the A, B, and C segment fluently, and even in the D segment, and then also in the crossover SUV segment, which was also a very important segment when it comes to the competition in the automotive industry. Now, some of you may be thinking that that's what Fiat is there for, right? Fiat does small cars. Fiat does small cars, but they are not the best competitors when it comes to small vehicles in the A, B, or C segment. The only good vehicle I can think of is the Fiat 500, but it's only good because of the aesthetics. It's only there, it only exists because of the style. But not everyone aims for style when purchasing a budget car, especially from the A, B, or C segment. They need something practical, they need something that's a good daily driver, they need something that's reliable, and that's something the PSA Group had. To develop a vehicle all by yourself as one company, it costs many US dollars. Like we're talking billions of US dollars. Okay, I'm not a budget expert. I do not know how much it will cost to develop a car by yourself, but it costs so much money to do everything by yourself because you have to develop the platform. You need to have a design. You need to have its identity. You need to you have to invest a lot of time and money to develop a car, to start the project. But when you do part sourcing, it means you are already using an existing platform from another brand to work on a project. So that's already half of your work done. So that's the advantage of production cost cutting, guys. So half of your work is done. You just have to invest $500 million or so, $500 million US or something to developing the other half of the project. So let's say PSA Group gave me the platform and I just have to do this. There, I have what I need, a nice car. Ta-da! There you go, mass market. I hope you're happy with my car, yay. Just don't be surprised it has PSA Group parts to it, but you know, it's Fiat Chrysler, you know, yay. I mean, that's the reality of today, guys. Now I would like to proceed to talking about the advantages Stellantis has for the PSA Group. The only advantage I can see for the PSA Group is that they will be having their platforms shared with Fiat Chrysler cars, and therefore they will some of the credit goes to them. Some of the titles, some of the reputation goes to PSA Groups because everyone will see, oh, hang on a second. Doesn't this look like it's based on a Peugeot? Doesn't this look like it's based on a Citroën? Oh, right. I see where this is going. Oh, nice. Oh, so the French cars do sell here in America after all, just disguised as Fiat Chrysler cars. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say, guys. I mean, recently, Peugeot, the PSA Group, they have announced that they will not be selling anything in North America. But I don't think they have to at this point because now Fiat Chrysler and the PSA Group are united, so therefore, whatever advantage Fiat Chrysler has, the Peugeot, the PSA Group also have it. So what's Fiat Chrysler's advantage is also the PSA Group's advantage. What's the PSA Group's advantage is also the Fiat Chrysler's advantage. They are an alliance. So therefore, in terms of name and titling, it's true the PSA Group don't have a big name anywhere in the world except in Europe. Okay, maybe they have some recognition somewhere, but the thing is, the big picture I see is that they do not have global presence like Toyota and Volkswagen. I wanted to say this also. Electric cars have become of high demand in today's generation. Stellantis also needed to happen because of the demand for electric cars. The PSA Group was taking strong initiatives, and so was Fiat Chrysler. But hang on, they couldn't do it alone. So they found an alliance. Ta-da! They did it. Alright guys, now I'm going to talk to you all about the questionable aspects of Stellantis. Over here in this topic of questionable aspects, I will be covering the questionable aspects of Stellantis as a whole. So this will include topics between Fiat Chrysler automobiles and the PSA Group. Questionable aspects about both brands is that they both have a lengthy reputation for building cars that just never had the best of reliability. They have a reputation for having just constant reliability issues. Now reliability issues is global. It's something that's everywhere, all over in the automotive industry. But then there are some brands that have a curse for having higher reliability problems in the statistics compared to the average, or compared to the ones that are below average, that have very little reliability issues, like the Japanese brands, for example. The PSA Group and the Fiat Chrysler have a reputation for having problems that go on to quality issues and issues with electronics. And this has been particularly the case with Chrysler in North America, especially Jeep as well. And then, well, when it comes to Fiat Chrysler, here in Belgium, Fiat Chrysler has had constant problems, guys. Like, they have quality issues, they have electronics problem, and then they also even have mechanic problems. Like, Here in Belgium, Jeeps don't last very long. And I've been always asking myself why. It's also because they do not sell cars that are appropriate for the EU market. Like Jeep has been offering huge engines. They don't offer much hybrid choices, and if they do, it's not a very good hybrid system. It's probably some plug-in, and then also they offer massive engines with high tax and everything, high fuel consumption. And then, or if they offer something great when it comes to engine and fuel consumption, it comes at a cost. And this is a price we're willing to pay for something German or something like a Volvo XC90, which is Swedish. Well, Swedish Chinese, but you know what I'm saying, guys. It's like we want something which is good value for money, good quality, and also that matches the money. For example, a Jeep Grand Cherokee, which costs 60,000 euros, let's say, or 70,000 euros. For that price, here in Belgium, the most common choice I've seen would be the Audi Q7 or the BMW X5 or something, or even the Volvo XC90. If I had to choose, I would go for the Volvo XC90 or maybe the Mercedes GLE. Or actually the BMW X5. Yeah, I think the BMW X5 is not bad of a choice. But you know what I'm saying, guys. The Americans, they don't seem to look at the EU market carefully. They just give in whatever they have. No offense, Americans. We love your products. Don't get us wrong. We love your cars. But it's just, we have serious tax laws. And then also another thing I'd like to talk about is the Jeep Wrangler, and in particular, I did a review of the Jeep Wrangler and the Jeep Gladiator. Now, the Jeep Wrangler and Jeep Gladiator are the exact same vehicles, except the Jeep Gladiator is basically the pickup version. So I'm assuming this influences tax. So I'm assuming here in Belgium you'd pay less tax for the Jeep Gladiator because it would be registered as a utility vehicle since it's a pickup at the back, you know. Whereas the Jeep Wrangler is a passenger vehicle, therefore you are to pay the full tax if it's under your private name. If you buy it as a company vehicle, there's a chance taxes are lower. I actually don't quite know very well about that, guys, but you know what I'm trying to say, guys. Basically, I saw the Jeep Wrangler and the Jeep Gladiator, and both of them costed, well, if I remember correctly, the Jeep Wrangler costed like something between 60,000 euros and 70,000 euros, and so did the Jeep Gladiator, guys. But both vehicles were just perfect off-roaders, and that's it. It's like, those are the kind of vehicles you take for off-roading or everything. But, you know, where is that 60,000 euros sitting exactly? Like, I don't pay 60,000 euros just to go off-roading, do I? So Toyota offers its Land Cruiser for that price. And for that price, the Land Cruiser makes more sense because it's more reliable, it has more equipment on board, more comfort features and everything. And it's also road-friendly. And here in Belgium, we just don't have a high demand for off-roading because here in Belgium, there's stronger environmental initiatives. So this topic of off-roading is, I think the Jeep Wrangler makes more sense to own if you're in Spain or if you're in a warm country where you can strip off all the doors and the roof of the Jeep Wrangler, and that's doable. I'm not saying you have to go to modify it at a dealership. You can do it by yourself. The Jeep Wrangler is a do-it-yourself kind of car, but then here in Belgium it makes no sense, and that's why it's so rare you see the Wrangler and the Gladiator here in Belgium. The only people who buy them are those who just probably want to make a collection of cars, or who just want to experiment, who want to try something different. And also another questionable aspect about the Stellantis is that they have, well, especially in particular the PSA group, they have a reputation for bad decisions. And I've mentioned this earlier. Like, for example, there's a luxury brand they have that goes by the name DS Automobiles. I don't actually understand what is the objective behind DS Automobiles. I mean, the visual objective, it appears to be that they want to compete in the premium segment. But how much research has been invested into this? Because from my view where I'm standing, I can see that the premium segment is already heavily occupied by the German brands like Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche, which are Volkswagen owned. And then also you have ultra luxury brands like Bentley and Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW. And then also you have British brands, guys, like Jaguar and Range Rover. And then also you have, brands from North America that dominate the North American market but have no presence here in Europe, like Cadillac, Lincoln. Even the Japanese have their luxury brands and they are reliable. They have a reputation like Lexus and Infiniti. And coming back to the topic of DS Automobiles, the luxury brand of the PSA group, remains a bit of a mystery to me what exactly, why exactly does that brand even exist? Why was it so difficult to make Citroën be the brand it once was before their bankruptcy in the 1970s? Why is it so difficult to do something for Citroën? It just makes no sense to me, guys. And then also, if you want me to be very honest about DS Automobiles, there's something a bit pretentious about it. Whenever I see the DS Automobiles, I see some brand trying to compete with what the Germans are doing. It's like it seems as though they exist only to compete to compete against the Germans. But I don't know how successful they've been, because here, in my view, I don't see many DS Automobiles vehicles on our roads here in Belgium. I mean, the DS7 Crossback has massive popularity. They are everywhere at the moment. But the old ones, like the ones that were from the first year of release, we're talking late 2010s, so like 2018, 2017, they disappear off our roads very quickly and they date very badly. They don't hold their value very well even. Do I see a DS Automobiles? No, I don't. They're just nowhere to be seen anymore. And the DS9... The DS9 was prided to be the spiritual successor of the Citroën DS, the Citroën CX, the Citroën XM, the Citroën C6. As a Citroën enthusiast, I find the DS9 to be... I don't know, the DS9 is a bit of an insult in my opinion, because first of all, it's as if DS is trying... It's a bit of a mystery what exactly is their objective, because it looks as though they want to on one hand they want to be the successor of the Citroën DS, but then on the other hand they want to distance themselves from the Citroën image. And I'm saying this from experience, guys, because I've been to their dealership. They are amazing, but the atmosphere amongst the DS circle, the DS Automobiles circle, is as if they are ashamed to admit that the DS name came from Citroën. And then similar case for the PSA group, guys. I mean, the PSA group have a reputation for doing great cars, but then one day they'll have that beautiful looking car, that sells like hotcakes, but then the next day it goes vanishing in thin air. Nobody talks about it, and it's nowhere to be seen in public. So here's my conclusion of Stellantis and what I have to say. I have a neutral view of Stellantis. I don't think Stellantis is the best thing that has ever happened, but I do not think that it's also the worst thing that's ever happened. I think Stellantis is the most okay thing to have happened. And it's something that I guess was good for Peugeot and I guess Stellantis, I think the real advantage Stellantis has for the PSA group and Fiat Chrysler automobiles is that there is going to be a massive savings from production costs. So both entities, Fiat Chrysler and the PSA group, they no longer have to invest many US dollars into production. Now that is halved. So now they just have to invest the other half in developing their own car, whilst they both share the same platform. That's the only advantage, really. Like, that's the conclusion I can see so far. And then also recognition. So now Peugeot has a bigger name, and so does Citroën, and so does DS Automobiles, and so does Opel. Now, at the moment, electric cars come at a cost, but I'm very optimistic that thanks to Stellantis, we are going to have cheaper alternatives over the years as electric cars become of high demand. My opinion of Stellantis? Oh, I love Stellantis! Stellantis is probably one of the best things to have happened, but then, yeah, you know what? One of the best things, okay? I'm not gonna say it's the best of the best, but then I'm also inclined to say it's not the best thing to have happened. I actually don't also think that, but then, you know what? Whatever. What's happened has happened, okay? And they cannot reverse the decision, and I don't think they should reverse the decision. I think they should stay united. Stellantis should stay united. But all I humbly beg for is that please, please, please improve your reliability. Both of you improve your reliability. Peugeot, Citroën, make your cars more reliable, especially your electronics. You guys have crazy electronics. Okay, fine. You guys have the best engines in the world. You guys have like very reliable engines. But then what's with your electronics? Why is it so difficult to make reliable electronics? I honestly wish the best for Fiat, Chrysler, and the PSA group, and Stellantis as a whole. And if they can improve on their reliability and being good value for money and also maintaining a stronger identity, that would be the best thing ever. Because right now, Fiat Chrysler is doing fine when it comes to identity. But when it comes to the PSA group, I'm seeing a lot of identities being a bit diluted because they're all sharing the same things exactly, like especially with Opel, guys. Like Opel is now starting to look exactly like PSA group cars, and that's not very I mean, that it would have been better if now they find their own ways as well, but you know, in respect to Peugeot, Citroën potentials, you know, capabilities. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run. Now I'll see you all next time.